Hello, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And surprises are there for to be enjoyed, such as we have a new feature in our famous software StreamYard that we do not have to push two buttons at a time, but the system is so smart that it starts automatically to play the intro song you have heard. And
Whether
then
we're
we
ready or not.
right, we are. And today we have a fantastic guest, an expert, Martin Nietzsche, and we're grateful that he could get us some time of his well stuffed calendar and that he is a very knowledgeable chap. I'm very happy to know for several ages. It must be more than 20, if
No, no,
I'm
no,
not.
it cannot be that long, Ralph. No, no, it can't be.
No?
No, no, we are so young, it's not possible that we know for 20 years.
That's a good one. Now, Martin, to give from my perspective the introduction, is founder and managing partner of Solveta GmbH and is considered as one of the German leading CRM and marketing experts. So we have there some stuff in common, the trio of us. CRM is a passion we share. Furthermore, he is president of the Deutsche Dialogmarketingverband, the German Direct Marketing Association. He is member of the board of FATMA and chairman of the board of the Global Alliance of Data-Driven Marketing Associations. So he knows the value of good, clean, and solid data for all the purposes which might came along. Before this, he worked at Deutsche Bank. Oh, sorry, just dropped the line. He studied business IT at Wedel University of Applied Science and worked as a management consultant before he worked at Deutsche Bank, Grey Global Group, and BBDO Group before he became head of marketing of Commerzbank, private and business customers. And you might recall that we have had a guest, Christian Peter, and it depends on the ends was our topic. And he was at that time a colleague when Martin still was at his head of marketing position, but in some higher floors where at that time Christian was working, such as from the skyscraper and the height of the banking. He teaches, as he had always, a very cool touch towards universities and research and development in the universities on the topics of direct marketing and marketing. And he was always very committed in the German Direct Marketing Association in different roles before he became the president. And he has been always an enthusiastic and motivating speaker at conferences in Germany and abroad, and has written and published numerous articles and books, including the standard reference on explainer videos. And now, guess why we won Martin as our guest today? Now, Martin, what did I have not mentioned yet? What
I
is
think you
valuable?
told so much about me that we can stop now and say, okay, that was it. I'm not sure about. No, I think it was really complete from a business point of view. You could tell the people that I'm a loving husband, that I'm a father of 3 kids, which are now 21 and nearly 18. So they are not kids anymore. And you could tell the people that I love to photograph or that I run some marathons or something like that. But I think as we are mostly talking about my business perspective today, I think you told everything which is to tell.
So, a bit about your motivation. Why, out of the knowledge of teaching others about content and trying to um, educate them on the one or the other topic, what was your motivation to found Solveta as an organization and company, and what was the bank?
I was head of marketing at Commerzbank at that point of time when I got the idea. And we were in the process of a big merger of the second largest bank in Germany and the third largest bank in Germany. So we had to explain about 4 million customers of one of these banks and another 4 million customers of the other of these banks, and 10,000 people of one bank and another 10,000 people in sales of the other bank, that everything changed. Everything was changing. Every system was changing. Every product was changing. Every price was changing. Everything changed. And as you know, people do not like change. Well, all of us do not like change. It's very normal that we do not like change. And we had to explain a lot of changes, which is not an easy topic, as you can imagine. And at that time, we explained this change mostly with words, with written words, with big letters. Sometimes we called them bricks, like there was a brick sending out with so much paper that the people really had to read all that stuff. And I had a holiday for 1 week, and I was lying on the beach in Denmark when I read a thriller, US thriller, and the US president got the President's Daily Briefing, the PDB. And I didn't know that this is true, that every day he gets that. It was the first time I read about this, and I thought, oh gosh, that's great. The world explained in half an hour. I would like to have that, but well, I wasn't president of the United States, so I did not get it. But this idea to explain something, not in tons of paper or tons of words, but in a very short time frame, in a direct way with the combination of words and pictures, that idea, that was, well, came to me when I read this book, and it didn't left me. So what I did is I founded a company around that, explaining things. And well, nowadays you don't have 30 minutes to explain something. So nowadays you sometimes have only 15 seconds. Sometimes you might be happy you have 60. You even sometimes get 180 seconds, but nothing above that. So the time got faster since 2010 or 2012. But in the end, I'm explaining things.
It's a terrific inspiration as well. I really love that you got the idea from reading a novel.
Yeah, that was it.
That's fantastic. I guess I need to read more.
I read about 50 to 100 books a year.
What?
So I read a lot, yeah. But I read mostly, to be honest, I read mostly not business books, but mostly simple thrillers or something like that. I do not watch TV at all. So I do not share time on TV. I haven't watched TV for 10 years now, I think, 12 years, I don't know anymore. So I use the time for reading.
Wow, this gets you a lot of novels, their content, and probably one or the other useful article or inspiration as well. There is the development I followed when I still recall that some IT companies and software and solution companies in the CRM arena, like the one from Constance, Lake Constance, the Bodensee in German, Cobra, where I found one day a very large sexy poster. And there was something explained like in a map. So there was a starting point where the president's daily briefing became at least an explanatory map and developed further on into video content. Can you take us a bit on that journey from your end, please?
Actually, what you saw was a poster, which was at the same time, you probably didn't see it, but it was at the same time a video. So when I started to develop the company, I said, okay, and that you have to imagine it was 2011 when I started this. The bandwidth in most of the companies was not that big, so videos were much harder to watch. YouTube was just 5 years old when I started this, so it was in the beginning of the big video wave, and I thought, okay, some people might like video, but others I'm not sure about. I wasn't sure that it was only video. There might be other ways to explain things. And we developed, the first videos we developed were the same thing at the same time. They were a poster. And you can imagine a camera making a way around the poster. So it works around the poster, and that's a video. So it was the same document if you look from it from a computer perspective, from an IP perspective, but you could print it as a poster, you could get it as a PDF, or you can watch it as a video. We do this from time to time even now, because still now there are some reasons why some people like paper more, or why they like to read something more. And some people like videos more. So sometimes we even nowadays do it in that way. But most of the times, to be honest, we switch to video only, because video is getting more and more prominent and more important. And many people do not read anymore, as I'm doing, and they like to watch a video much more.
It's a video explanation is especially useful when there's a process that you have to follow involved, or a number of discrete steps. I know that whenever I've had to use explainer videos in the past, to help me put together a chair or whatnot, I find that sometimes still images are the best. Sometimes videos really help you get through.
Mm. Marshall, I think it depends very much on at which point of the customer journey you are using a video. If you are using a video in the service point, for example, then it would be very often a process, how to do something, how to use layers in Photoshop, or how to build a chair, or whatever you are doing. Then it's very much a service point of view. If you're using it earlier in the customer journey, like explaining the advantages of a product, then it's probably not that much a process. It's more like an idea. It's more like what do I get out of that product or that service? More like how do I use it? So it depends a little bit at which point of time you use that video, or you produce this video for. But it doesn't matter. You can use videos at every single step of the customer journey, from the beginning, from the first ideas, how to make somebody to via the decision point, whether he says, oh, do I use that one or do I use that one? Or the usage, like you said, like the service, like how do I use that product? Even until the point we use it sometimes for how do I recommend somebody for a new product? So at the end of the customer lifetime. So it doesn't really matter. You can use it in the whole customer journey.
What is the appropriate amount of time? Would you say that it is depending on the part of the journey we're taking, that the length might differ?
No, not really. Well, let me put it the other way around. The shortest explainer video I know is 6 seconds. And the longest explainer video I know is about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Hallelujah.
That's not an explainer video, that's a class.
It's a classical cinema length of a video. But there is, let me start with the long one. It's not only one. It's a German company called Hornbach, which is like, it's a big do-it-yourself store chain. I'm just looking for the states. It's not Target. It's like
Home Depot, perhaps?
Home Depot. Exactly. That's it. Home Depot. And they developed a series of explainer videos where somebody explained for between 1 hour and 2 hours how he built something. And so they built a whole room, or they built a stair, or they built a desk, or whatsoever. So it's a 1 hour, 1 hour 15, 1 hour 30, 1 hour 45, sometimes even 2 hour video. And people love these videos. These videos have views in the hundreds of thousands. So it's not only long, it's well looked at. So it's not, and Ralph came from the point, what is the decision how long a video should be? It's not the target group. It's not the product. It's not the topic. It's not the part in the customer lifestyle. It's the target you have with the video. Well, let's put it the other way around. I can explain whatever topic in 30 seconds, and I can explain the same topic in 3 hours. It depends on the situation and the people I'm talking to and what they want to know, whether I use 30 seconds or whether I use 3 hours. And it's the same topic, perhaps. So it depends on how you would like to use the video, how you would like to use it, and at which point of time you use it. So if you know that a person doesn't have a lot of time because she or he is on social media, you have to be very, very fast because people do not have a lot of time in social media. If you know it's a topic that they are really interested in and they love that topic, it's their hobby, it's what they love to do, you can use 2 hours, not a problem. So it depends not on the topic and not on the point in the customer life cycle.
Fair enough. Which was the shortest one, as you mentioned? The long one, the 6 second one.
The 6 second one is not one which we did. It's another company which did that one. Our shortest one is, I think, 12 seconds. The shortest one I ever saw was 6 seconds, and it was explaining a small pouch you could use for traveling. Mm-hmm. And they made a stop motion video which said, okay, they put together photos. So they had a camera fixed, they had the pouch open, then they put the first thing in the pouch, made a photo. The second thing in the pouch, made a photo. And the third thing in the pouch, made a photo, and so on. And then they made a video out of all that photos, which was 6 seconds long, and which showed that you could open the pouch, you put everything in, you close it, and it's a small pouch. And you get everything which is the USP of that product in 6 seconds. So it's a fantastic video.
Clever.
And the one with 12 seconds you did?
That was a short version of a longer video we did for a German bank, not Commerzbank, but another bank, which explained why people should get a credit and how they could apply at this bank. So actually, that was originally a 60 seconds video, which was on a landing page for the bank. And the bank wanted to, let's say, teaser this video, this landing page on social media. And we said, you can't do 60 seconds on social media. So we built another video, which is only 12 or 13 seconds long, which teases the whole video. And then it's, well, there's a link below, of course, where you can click, and then you go to the full video if you're interested.
Okay.
In what other ways are explainer videos different from other video content?
I would say on one side they are like all other video content as well. So there are rules which are good for video, whether it's an explainer video or something else. And sometimes the borders between explainer video and other video, sometimes there is no border. There are explainer video which are ads, or there are ads which are more explainer videos. So sometimes you can't really differ between the two, for example. But there are some things which are similar. So for example, storytelling. In a good explainer video, you are telling a story, as you are doing in a full-length cinema video as well. Why? Because you can remember the story much better than anything else. So we are talking now for 20 minutes, and about 15 minutes ago, I told you a story about me reading a book on the shores in Denmark. Well, you remember that. Why? Because it was a story. That's exactly what you are doing in an explainer video. The same thing I did. You try to tell a story, and people will remember the story much better than any facts. So that's the same thing you are doing in an explainer video as a normal video, for example. Another thing which is very often different in most explainer videos, you do not use real video, real film. So like we are now, real video. In most explainer videos, you are using animated stuff, animated videos. Why? Very simply, and that's Marshall is going back to your question about processes. Our eye is looking at the video. And if the eye is looking at a talking head, well, at the moment, our viewers are looking at 3 talking heads, then the eyes, our brain capacity is mostly looking into the eyes of the people we are seeing and thinking about, do we like them? Do we do not like them? Are they, and so on. So we are not really thinking about the topic. We are looking more to the persons. So a talking head video is not a good explainer video because the brain capacity of the viewers is looking for the heads instead of the topic. If you use an animated video where you see, for example, a process in the view, then the brain capacity is looking to the process. We see it, it's talking at the same time. So the audio and the video is coming together in our brain, and then it works perfectly. So that is something different to most videos you have in normal usage.
I've noticed over time that many times when a business has a product that is complex, they will, and I think this is a good idea, will suggest looking at videos on YouTube made by product enthusiasts, people who use whatever the thing is, outsourcing the explanation to people who aren't paid for it. How, if at all, have you learned from independent video creators how to make your explanation videos better?
A lot and nothing. 2 things. Well, first of all, let me say, every day nowadays, 1 billion of explainer videos are watched worldwide. 1 billion of explainer videos every single day are watched.
My goodness.
And Marshall, you are totally right. Most of these explainer videos are not made by companies. Most of these are made by enthusiasts, by fans. Absolutely right. The challenge with these videos are twofold. Very often these fans are not talking about what the companies like them to talk about. So for example, they are talking about, okay, you can get this product or you can get that product, and I compare them now. That's wonderful for a consumer. It's not so good for a company who want to sell only one of these 2 products. So that's one part of the story. The other part of the story is something you probably have seen as well. No, that's wrong. But a lot of these fan videos have a very, very, very bad quality. So when you ever try to find a good, well, let's say you want to do something in Photoshop, and Photoshop is a very, very complex program. You have to learn a lot of hours to do something there. And even I, using as a photographer that for a long time, I have to look for videos very often to find how I do this thing in Photoshop. And very often I'm looking for videos and I find horrible explainer videos, 30 minutes long to show something where you need 1 minute normally. with the mouse pointer going all over the screen, and with the sound which is very bad. The person, well, you hear that I'm German with my English, but at least I hope that I'm understandable for the most people. But very often they have an accent that I cannot understand at all. So a lot of these videos are fan videos, but they are not really good videos. And as a company, you expect, or you are expected by your consumers to deliver better quality. So it makes sense to have fans who are doing videos. It's wonderful if they are doing this, but it's a different point of time you use a fan video and your own video. So both of them are good. Both have their qualities. And I would say as a company, you have to have some fans, of course, doing their own videos, but you have to do your own as well, depending on how you would like to use them.
Going for that one, so where would you see that aside of the voice, aside of audio quality and the time span they are utilizing to explain things in a more enthusiastic to long way instead straight on top of the point to explain why you get a background less picture if you put it in that tool, load it up, click on that, download it, and you have a background free photo. Yeah, a background remover, which we used for the promo slide as well. So what are the common mistakes companies or individuals are making when creating such explanatory oh my goodness, explainer
video. That's easier. Yeah. I would say the most common mistake is not to have a video.
Okay, that's fair.
Because, well, how often would you like to have a video, but you didn't get one? You found a website with tons of information, but not a video at the top, which tells you the most important part of it. So the most important mistake is not to have a video. And I see this very, very often. I spoke with the head of marketing of a big insurance company some month ago. And I told him that people, and we made a market research in Germany with 1,030 people asked, so it was a very broad market research. And the people told us that we asked, what are the most important things you would like to have as information source if you want to buy something or if you want to use something? And the most important, or the least important source was paper. So the brochures, that was the least important source. The second least important source was website. The third least important source, people told us, was personal consulting of a person. So like an insurance agent. And the most important source, the fourth least important source, the most important source was a video. So people told us that a video is more important than personal advice, more important than a website, more important, much more important than any brochure they can get. So I talked with this head of marketing and he said, okay, nowadays, first of all, we produce a brochure. If we have that one, we look for our website and adjust the text for the website. Then we build something for our staff, for our advisors. And if the process, at the end of this process, we still have money and time left, then we might do a video.
Right.
And in future, we have to turn around the whole process. We have to start with the video. And if then we do the website, then we do some explainer or some information for our advisories. And if we then, at the end of the process, still have some time and money left, we could make a brochure. And that's very true. It's very, very true. that the process in most companies is still old-fashioned, like 20 years ago. And they should start with a video, not with written text, not with a website. Start with the video. So the biggest mistake, Ralph, is not having a video. And that's, I would say, the 95% mistake of most companies. So if you have a video, let's go deeper. So if you have a video, I would say the biggest mistake is trying to do the video yourself. And I'm not saying this because I want to have more orders. We have enough orders. We did more than 3,000 videos over the last 10 years. So we have enough business. But I tell this as a person who knows nothing about the topics we are explaining. And what I found is that the less we know about a topic, the more, the easier, the better we can explain it. So if you try to explain your own topic and a company explains their own topics, their own products, their own solutions, they know too much. They want to tell too much. They do not know how to tell it. They want to tell everything. And then they ask their legal department to look over it, and then they get another 2 minutes on the video. So the moment you are trying to do this yourself, you do not see the forest for the trees. So the main point, the main advice I can give, let somebody outside of your company who doesn't know about your product, let this person explain your product. And if this person can explain your product in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, everybody can understand it. And it's counterintuitive. You think you have to know everything about the product to be able to explain it, but it's totally the other way around. The less you know about the product, the better you can explain it. You remember your math lectures in school or in university? The people who were really, really great in math, the teachers who were the best mathematicians, they couldn't explain you anything. So you didn't learn as a pupil from them because they knew too much and they couldn't explain it.
Right. They're so removed from the mindset that you have of trying to learn how to do it. Yeah, that's got to be a challenge. How do you make sure that the message is clear and concise so that doesn't run into a problem?
We have a very detailed process to produce a video, and we use different people at different stages. So the first stage is we use somebody who is writing or painting a storyline or a storyboard. So this is the person who is collecting all the information and then make a story out of that. And if we have that one ready, at the next step, a totally different person is taking this story and visualize this story, the design process. And then we have a third person, have never seen any of that. This person is writing the voiceover text. So what the speaker is telling in the voiceover, in the video. And again, this person doesn't know of the first person and the second person. That's the third person. And then we have a final test with the fourth person who tries to understand the result. And as we are using 4 different persons, we make absolutely sure that the fourth person, if the fourth person can understand, then it works. Because the fourth person has never heard of the topic before. So we are testing that like that, and it's working very good.
Cool.
By the way, we use a lot of AI in that process by now, and that helps a little bit as well nowadays. So, for example, we use an AI which can give us feedback on the quality of the understandability of the voiceover. So it looks not only for the length of sentences, but as well of the complexity of words and then it gives us hints at which words we have to change something, or we have to make one sentence out of two sentences, and so on. So there we get a score. And normally our good storyline writers, our good voiceover writers can get a score of 90 out of 100 now, or without using the AI. But then the AI comes along, and then we are going to 100 over 100. And no video leaves our production line which is not at 100 of 100 in that and on that AI.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it a secret what type of AI you are using? So we will make afterwards from our long video, from our 1 hour video, some short teasers, and Thomas is utilizing Opus Clips. And Opus Clips does deliver you such an analysis. What was understandable? How good was it in the mentioning? And what was the message which came through?
The AI we are using is from a partner company. It's called TCL Digital. And they originally built this AI to optimize letters in direct marketing. So that's the core of that software. And then we fed about 1,000 of our voiceover text into that software and optimized it from direct marketing to voiceovers to explainer videos. So it's a special AI you can't buy on the market, but it's working very, very well. We trained it, yes, of course.
So as I spoke into your explanation, I apologize. It is a dedicated, trained to your behalf, formerly for a different usage, performing artificial intelligence, which you retrained to a new topic.
Yeah.
That's very interesting and important, such as a long or a large language model probably would not be as suitable and useful as such a focused approach, such as go for a focused approach, for a focused process, for a focused goal or target to be delivered, and have a lot more positive result than using one is good for all approach.
Yeah, exactly. That was the reason why we trained that software with our partner.
Explanation and explanatory videos and using films and videos for explaining stuff is not only for marketing reasons useful. I catched up that one of the very useful things I admire in a very large blue cloud company, which is not always the top product of my first choice, that they have a community where people help other people, and they use a lot of explanations and short videos to explain how to utilize stuff in the software, or they describe for teasing or for getting people aboard in a certain way. They utilize short videos to explain the function and features of a dedicated version or of a module in a version. I learned today that people are positively reflecting if they get complex stuff explained in an easy way. Such is also not only the nurturing process, but onboarding of people in general to a new organization or a new job. Have you earned there some expertise and learned some lessons?
A lot, but yes, a lot, because it's another target group. It's your employees, but in the end, it's the same topic. You want to explain things, and they want to learn these things. So in the end, everybody is happy, but the target group is just different. There is one difference which you have to look at. It's the ROI behind a video. And the ROI behind a video is typically better if the audience is bigger, because you have the one-time cost for producing a video. And the bigger your audience is, the lower is the cost per person who is watching. So if you have a big company like 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people, a video totally makes sense because your audience, your employee audience, is big enough so that the ROI behind the video is good enough. If you have a small company like 20 people, you don't use explainer videos because it would be too expensive to explain these things in a video compared to other channels you might have in a small company. But the point is not that it wouldn't work in a small company. The point is that it wouldn't make sense from an economic point of view.
Understood.
Yeah. One of the most common explainer videos people will have seen, and we all have experience with, is the safety video that airlines at the beginning. How would you rate those in terms of explainer video?
I would say about 80%, probably even 90% of these videos are horrible. That's the reason why everybody who flew with the plane twice didn't watch the same video the second time.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are boring and they are not telling a story. I said 80 or 90% because there are some exceptions to these rules. And I flew a lot over the last years, and I remember one or two companies, airline companies. One of them was Air New Zealand, and another one was, I think, Turkish Airlines, who did fantastic safety videos. I know one of the ones, or I think it was Air New Zealand, was about the Hobbits. So they did the whole safety video with the story of the Hobbits. And do you remember that I told you have to tell a story if you want to do a good explainer video? That's exactly the point. Most of the safety videos, they do not tell a story. There's a person telling you, okay, you have to put your vest like that, and then you put here, and then you, it's not a story. But if you tell this as Air New Zealand with the Hobbits, then it starts to make sense. It starts to get a story, and then people remember that. And then it starts to work, and they would like to watch the videos a second time or even the third time.
I recall, as we had the topic of the safety videos, one where they used, for instance, in British Airways, Mr. Bean as a well-recognized comedian figure, and they were telling some funny stories and made it in an extreme way, such as that Mr. Bean was thrown up into the air because he was not using the seatbelt and he didn't fasten. So the simple situation was that some funny guy with a pipe in the mouth, like those Ritter der Kokosnuss or something like that, Monty Python type, that he was saying, if you don't want to get hurt, you better fasten your seatbelt. Yeah.
And the challenge with that is it might be a fantastic emotional or even funny story. The challenge with that, if you go too much into the story, and we have the same in our explainer videos, it's always a balance. If you go too much into the story, the people won't remember the content. So what you just told us were how he went in the air and that it was funny and Mr. Bean, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't remember, okay, fasten your seatbelt and do this and do that. So you have to find a balance between storytelling on one side and content on the other side. And you have to interweave them to get them connected so that you can't get one without the other. And that's one of the things you really have to learn if you want to do good explainer videos.
So as we have learned already in the last 45 minutes, that animation is on top of real stuff and talking heads. The question arises that we have seen that description, or we have heard the description of the 6-second still video, frame by frame by frame, by piece by piece by piece. And some of the early explainer videos I recall are written short scenes, cutouts out of drawings, placed and brought into a storyline. What is the technique you prefer these days?
Well, I prefer the same technique, but with modern technology. So the reason why these first videos, they are from 2008 to 2010. It's the first explainer videos you find in the market. Well, at least the first modern explainer videos. There are older examples, but these are the first modern YouTube explainer videos. And they were done like that because at that point of time, you didn't have the computing capacity to really make animation on a normal computer. You have to have something like Disney behind you with money like Disney to make it on the computer in 2008. So that was the reason why the people did it like that. They put a video camera on the wall, on the top of your room, on the ceiling, facing down. Then you had your place here like that. You had this here like that. And you put the things there with the hands and filming it top down with the video camera. That was just done because it was the cheapest way to produce a video in an animated style. We are doing exactly the same today, but the placements of the elements are done in computer, of course, by now. And even if you see a hand in a computer, it's a virtual hand. It's not a real hand anymore. Or you get rid of the hands and you make a full animation out of that, which is not a problem nowadays with the computing power even your iPhone has. So the reason why they did was just computing power and pricing. Nowadays, you do exactly the same, but full in computer. You tell your stories, you animate the stories, but it's done in computer. In the end, it's not that different. And one interesting thing to that one, I think 4 years ago, we did a thesis or a study together with a student who did his master thesis with us. And I had the question, okay, there are different types of explainer video styles in the market. Cutout style was one of the styles you named, 2D animation, and there are other styles. And I had the question, okay, which is the best style? And we produced the same video, exactly the same content, the same voiceover, the same audio, everything is the same in 3 different video styles. So the visual was different, but the content was exactly the same. And then this master student, he showed this video to all in 1,000 people, or 999 to be honest. 333, he showed the first video. The third, he showed the second video. And the third part, he showed the third video. And he asked the people, do you like the video? What do you remember of the video? And so on. And what we found is all videos were the same. The people liked the videos the same, on the same level. They had the same remember level. They had the same like style, the same emotion. It was nearly the same. There were some small difference, but within statistical margin. And then he showed the 2 other videos to the first person and the 2 other videos to the second and the 2 others to the third, and asked afterwards, okay, which one of the 3 do you like better? And even after that, the differences were small. There were some small difference. So 2D animation, like comic, was a little bit higher on the emotional level than other topics and so on. But even then, the differences were small. So to put it short, the consumer is not really interested in the style. The consumer of the videos is interested in the information. So what do I get out of that video? The producer of the video, that is a different story. Because, for example, if you do an animation style like a cartoon, it's much harder to get your brand into that style. If you do a motion style, it's much easier to get your brand, your colors, your fonts, and everything else in your style. So from a company perspective, it might be sensible to use one style and not the other. From the consumer perspective, it doesn't really matter.
Wow. That's important learning again. About animation styles, about the different types of getting it across to the audience. What tools and software, if one is curious and would like to try and experiment on his own a bit with a smaller audience, for instance, a canoe club, or if you want to do these BC buses, such as smaller kids going to school and driving together to school on a dedicated approach and a dedicated road to promote this, which is a project my wife has started right now. What type of software would you recommend for creating an explainer video?
PowerPoint or Keynote.
Okay.
Because one of the two you have on your computer, one of the two everybody has on their computer. The Apple kids have Keynote, the Windows kids have PowerPoint. And both of them are perfectly capable of exporting videos. Both of them are perfectly capable that you put your voiceovers in there. You can record your voiceover in there. You have animations in there, of course. You have text, you have everything you need. And I would say as a starting point, you can do very, very good explainer videos with PowerPoint or Keynote. If you, well, let's say, misuse them. If you use them in the classical PowerPoint style, forget it. But if you misuse these two tools, you can do fantastic explainer videos. If you then want to get a little bit better, then you normally start in the Adobe direction. So you use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Motion, Adobe After Effects, Adobe Adobe the whole Adobe suite, which is, I would say, the gold standard for the experts. And there are some special software in the cloud where you can use, which you can use. For example, for these cutout videos or whiteboard videos, which you mentioned, Ralph, there are special cloud softwares out there. Some of them you can really use for nearly nothing or for free of charge if you only use them for your home use. To be honest, in the end, like CRM, it's not about the tools, it's about how you use them. And that's the same for explainer videos as well. I would say that our designers could use PowerPoint to make a fantastic explainer video, but not because it's PowerPoint, but because they know how to use the tool, they know how to tell a story, they know how to record a good voiceover, and so on, and so on, and so on. So it's not about the tool.
How do you measure the success of an explainer video? Are there particular KPIs?
There are some special KPIs. One of them, for example, is how long people watch the video. So what you see is that there are two typical points in time where people stop to watch the video. The first point in time is about after 7 seconds. And the second point in time is about after 120 seconds. So the first 7 seconds are the most important seconds of the video. And the first 7 seconds, you have to explain the viewer why he should view the video. What is in for me? What is in it for me? The typical question at that point of time. That's you have to answer on the first 7 question. That's a problem with a lot of explainer videos out there. They start with the headline and telling first, we would like to talk today about this topic or that topic. And then the 7 seconds are over, well, and people stop watching.
This reminds me dramatically to Siegfried Vögel's throwaway time scan, yeah?
Yes, of course, the same. It's our brain telling us don't watch it anymore or don't read it anymore or something. The second part is about after 120 seconds.
Yeah.
That is the part where people say, okay, I got everything I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And what is now coming is only for the experts. I don't need anymore. And that's the reason why most of the good explainer videos are less than 120 seconds. There are sometimes longer ones. And as I said, sometimes they make sense. But in the end, and then coming back to your question, Marshall, I would say it's a question of what you want, what your target is. Let's put it very simple. If 100 people watch your video for 100 seconds, then you have 10,000 seconds of watching time. If only 50 people, or let's say even 10 people, watches your video for 1,000 seconds, so a long one, you have the same watch time overall. So the question is not, do I have a short video or do I have a long video, but do I want a lower number of people, an intensive watching, or I have a bigger number of people, a short watch? And both make sense depending on the point in your customer journey, of your targets in the company, and so on. So in the end is what is your target? And then you can decide how long should the video be.
Cool. One thing just came to my mind. As we had on that event where I was present today, how important customer engagement is and employee engagement, and that our economic society uses 167 trillion US dollar, only the German economy, by have non-motivated employees in all of the existing organizations. And they lose that money because people are not doing the job they have to do, to be done with a certain, I love it, I'm engaged, I'm enthusiastic in doing it, but it's the non-engagement figure we have by research heard about today. How can explainer videos improve just the little one, the customer engagement at least?
Well, customers are engaged when they are wowed. And a video is a wow factor. Very simple.
Cool.
How often, let's put it the other way around. How often do you expect a company to give you a video on a topic you need to know in FAQ sections on a website or in whatever? How do you really expect to get a video?
No.
Exactly.
I get boring text, and you got me.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And you make them wow, you engage them, giving them a video.
We are starting to run out of time, so I'm going to give you the option for some famous last words. What advice would you give to someone, a company or an individual just starting out with explainer videos?
Just do it. Start it. Make your first video yourself, have fun with it. And then if you find out that your customers or your employees or whoever your target group is loving it, go to a company and make it more professional, but just start it. You can't do it without.
I'm just giving you the compliments of Jürgen to your end, Martin, as he is enjoying very much our video podcast. And so is Ray Gerber, who welcomed us at the starting time when we approached the show and with a high all, and he kept the whole time with us. So we have a live audience, and I'm grateful that we have them. So handing over after that enthusiastic moment, and thanks heaps to Jürgen and Ray for the wrap up and the announcement of our topic of the next show.
Okay, I can do that. Of course, Thanks to our audience for having been with us this past hour. If you would like to rewatch this or any of our other episodes, you're welcome to go to YouTube and visit CRM Convos. That's CRMKONVOS, all one word, and check those out. Most importantly, thank you, Martin Nietzsche, for your time and your engaging explanation of explainer videos. It really was a fascinating topic, and there's more that we could go into if we wanted. Next week, you can tune in when we dive into the 5 core findings of a CRM study of 2024 with our guest Miriam Ringer. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us for that. But in the meantime, thanks again for being here, and stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Stay healthy, take care, and now we go off.